Yeah, I mean, absolutely right, listener. Both those guys have world class skills, right? But when they meet someone in a world class level that's elite, they seem to crumble apart. And they say that fighting is 90% mental, right? What do they mean by that? Well, once the training's done and that you have some obvious talent, at least some areas of MMA, the fight becomes a mental ball game and who's going to rise to the occasion. This brings up an old term that I've dubbed myself and other training partners have been dubbed it a gym hero, right? Like in the gym, you whoop ass. In the gym, you look really good, and then on fight night, you look really bad. Now that's two things converging together. And how do I say this? So in one area is everyone's career needs to be manicured. And I had a funny talk with a sensei named Jerry. God, I forget Jerry's last name. He was in San Diego. He was a young kid, but he'd been karate his whole life, like me. Like I was much older than him. And he said, "Yeah, look, you got to take care of your career. You got to manage it properly. If you're just doing it to prove you can do it and to prove you're tough, that's fine." And that's exactly why I was kickboxing when I was kickboxing, right? It had nothing to do with seeing a future in kickboxing because there was no future in kickboxing then, right? Like there was no money in it. You could be the best fighter in the world, you still couldn't feed your family just kickboxing. Now, obviously, we're in a much different time. But what am I saying by that? I'm saying by that certain people under the lights get better. Certain people under the lights get worse. But at the same time, certain people don't ever have those pre-careers where they're allowed to shine. Terry Sokoju, the Quest guys used to call him a gym hero. And I understand why. Terry was an absolute animal in the gym, right? Like he could kill you. He was muscular and buff and all those other things. But at the same time, Terry Sokoju's, I think, third fight was knocking out Big Nog, right, in Pride. I mean, I could be wrong about that. Don't freak out, guys, if it was Little Nog or if it was not just his third fight. But the point is, Terry didn't really have a career where he was able to knock out guys and grow and develop as a fighter in the ring like that. And some people don't get that chance. I mean, Terry was a terrifying looking guy. He was a superstar the moment he hit the stage with his dreadlocks and his good looks and all that. And so his career took off, and suddenly he's never in an easy fight, right? So his record's 500. Well, you look at most really good fighters, their records start to become 500 once they're fighting other top caliber like themselves, right? And then they retire by the time they got 4 or 5 losses, right? So you would never know where they'd be otherwise. But yeah, it's one of those things about the fight game. Nothing fair about the fight game. Nothing fair about life, right? How your career is managed, timing, place, everything else. Do I believe Gilbert Melendez had a lot of easy fights in the early part of his career? I do, and I think that it had to do with circumstance. There wasn't a lot of MMA then, so there weren't a lot of really, really tough guys who knew what they were doing. Gilbert had just come out of college wrestling. His conditioning was there, his wrestling was there, right? And he was a tough dude, and that allowed him to take over the division. So we are all reflections of our place in time with what happened to us. We're also reflections of our own choices and our own insecurities inside. Like we've talked about Moicano and Holland, right? Like, do they really believe they can't do it or something? Is there something that stops them at the top level? Those are all intangible things we really can't know. But that goes back into the Rocky stories, right? It's like why we like fighting. It's about we can overcome anything life throws at us, and that's cool. Everybody like a follow from one of the fight.